Would you say that we're back now, or did we go
Like,
anywhere? Or I mean, has it been summer vacation for us, or what is it?
it's been. It's. Do you feel like it's been a vacation?
Uh no, I don't.
I mean, and I don't know how back we're talking here. What are we? What are we? I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Uh,
And the sad thing is like the last recording. The last one was really good. It was with for the Disney
mhm.
hospitality one, and I really liked that. Maybe that's what it was. Is we just that one was so good. We were like, man, yeah, just we're gonna take a break. That one was tough.
Yeah, how do we top that? You know, because here we had a world-renowned individual on there that is paid lots of money to speak at all these global forums, and now it's just back to you and me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's sad, but here's the deal. I think what we learned a lot from that one, and not just the hospitality side, but I think we learned that we really enjoy doing the interviews, and we want to do more of those, and more of those are on their way.
Yes, definitely so.
So I know we've already got one that we're trying to get on schedule.
Correct. Yeah, that one's going to
Uh,
be a lot of fun, but unfortunately for now, everybody's just going to have to settle for us.
yeah,
This is filler.
yeah. Well, I don't know about filler. I think that I like what we're talking about today. I think it's there's some good stuff in there.
I think so too.
So we'll it'll be good. It's just not as exciting. It's not so marquee as you might say.
No, they're this one's definitely not up in lights. This is this is more like whenever you're turning into the gas station and you see that somebody's just put a little wooden stake with a poster board sign that says garage sale. That's more along the
Man,
lines
I
of
was
this
going a
one.
little bit further actually, and then I was giving us a little bit more credit. I was thinking this is like when you go you go to buy your gas at the gas station, but for some reason the card reader doesn't work, so you have to go inside.
I'm going to a
And
different gas station. Bye.
well, the card reader doesn't work, but you're like 50 miles from the next closest gas station. So you go inside, and while you're in there, you're like, you've seen that hot dog rolling on that thing that's been there for 3 weeks, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to go for it.
What do they call those? That it's no longer a hot dog, that they call it a witch's finger or something like that.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, it's a jerky dog now.
If it was actually all beef, then that wouldn't be such a problem.
True.
I don't know that it does very well when it's been on that thing for that long, and then it's full of chicken lips.
Right. Yeah, that's I'm in the same boat as you. If it's bologna or hot dogs, it's the all beef variety, at least for me.
It's my bologna has a first name, and it's not rolling on
I was
that.
actually humming that song in my head like 30 minutes ago.
I don't know why.
I squirrel.
This is, man, it is it that lonely there in Decatur?
I mean, you have a lot of time to yourself, a lot of time to think. Really,
You don't have music playing?
Oh no, I do have music playing.
I mean, like I've got even now in the new office I'm in now, I've got music playing, and my setup's great now.
Right. I even see you got some greenery back there. I mean,
it's mostly green.
Is that native to the College Station area?
It's native to that spot right there. It's there because I get the can I dust your ficus, Mr. Watson?
Yeah, we're not that bougie.
Preston.
Well, I actually, in the corners over here, I do have some olive trees.
You have all the trees?
All the trees.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's nice now. Like we've got doors closed, so we don't have now. That does not mean that we won't get the ring from the phone.
Correct.
It just means we won't hear talking in the background, and it does not mean we will always, 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 for until I die, have the love of Union Pacific running by at any given point in time. So that will be a thing for the rest of my life. So can't get away from the train.
Right.
But no, I think we've got some pretty cool stuff to go over today and talk about. But and things that have kind of gone on over the last couple of weeks. Of course, I've been really busy. Like it's always the talking point, right? Is I've been busy, and we talk about how, man, I just I'm so grateful. I am grateful that I got my projects done. That's kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I loved doing them. I love doing the big projects. They're exciting. They're not exciting to do all at once when you're drinking from a fire hose, and add to that 2.5 months of rain. Which if I look back, let me see. I actually had to create a rolling chat conversation about rainfall.
Just so you have something to reference.
Right. Because I knew how much we were at. So this was the last time I did it. And this would have been since April 1st. This is since April 1st. And we haven't really had any rain since I did this last.
That's why it stopped raining.
Yeah. We are at 19.5 inches since April 1st.
Dadgum.
And that puts us about 10 to 12 inches over the year-to-date average.
There you go.
So it's a bit much. And it finally started to dry out so we can finally get stuff done.
There you go.
But no, it's been cool. I mean, I think I've normally I kind of withhold some of my projects until later on and post them. Usually after AICA and stuff like these I didn't hold, and we went ahead and ran them. Mostly because some of them were repairs and things like that, and I knew dedications were coming up and stuff. So, but we were able to do that a LaSalle statue repair. That was the Frank Teak piece that he had done. And so I pulled that apart, shipped it to Georgia to get repaired, and super grateful for the guys over at Keystone and their help in getting this knocked out so that we look like absolute studs. And then Alan Kent, who came in and gave us a hand doing the install, getting it back in place. We could have lifted it, but I couldn't have lifted it far enough because the weight was just a bit much for our crane. We were right at the threshold. So,
yeah, when in doubt, bring in proper.
Yeah, and man, it was cool. I enjoyed hanging out with him. He's a real cool guy. If you've never met him, and I learned a couple things from him, and so it was super cool. But yeah, we've got that going, and then just finished this week. I think I sent 2 pictures of our War of 1812 and America 250 project. That one's done, as well as 2 statues for St. Anthony's here, along with like a garden and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, the big projects that we've been having, they were supposed to be staggered. I had them planned to be staggered, and then God had other plans, and he decided to put water in that section.
There you go.
So, see, I told you the phone's still ringing. So we had to deal with all that. But man, thankful to be through it. Thankful we were able to do it. Blessed that we were able to handle all that. And so, yeah, one thing at a time. That's all I can do.
Right.
So how about you? What you been up to?
Oh, just playing with the new location more than anything. And it's for those of you that have started new locations before, you'll understand that it takes a little bit to get these things going, and especially in an area to where there is no monument presence, that it's something that people aren't conditioned to look for around here. That the biggest thing is being as active as I can and trying to build up my digital presence now. And that's been basically my sole focus. And then I think it's just this week I finally appeared on the first page of Google for search results here. And like I had nobody to high five because I'm over here by myself, but I high five myself. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, just doing that. And then of course, just the still keeping track of everything going on at the other location. Just same as you, we've been dodging rain here and there, and it's just the never ending, little mouse wheel that we're always on.
Yeah, and of course this year we get the luxury of El Nino, and for those of y'all who
Don't
may
speak
be in
Spanish. That is Spanish for the Nino.
the Nino.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So for those of y'all who don't fool with El Nino periods, as the that wind shifts, it pushes that rain in, and this is going to be one of those years where we're going to have to deal with it. And it's usually the years when we on the Texas Gulf Coast get a good hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
So we are due. The last one was in I believe 17. That was a real good one that hit us hard. So at Harvey. But I guess based upon that, if we're using that as our barometer, maybe the Astros actually pick back up and actually win something. But based on their current record being 3 games behind 500, I doubt it.
Yeah, the AL West, whoever wins the AL West this year, it's kind of a participation trophy. Unfortunately, so.
I would get that pennant, participation pennant.
I'm ready.
I hope it says thanks for trying.
Right. You did good, buddy. Good job. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, it's so bad. And the teams are well stacked. It's sad.
Yeah, it's just not happening for some reason. Just unfortunately, you can't make fetch happen.
No.
Yeah, no. But speaking of participation trophies, I wouldn't know if we'd call it participation trophies, or maybe we should. One thing that I've noticed online here lately from looking at some people's Facebook pages, things like that it seems that everybody in the monument industry is actually doing very well at the moment, because what I've noticed is an extreme uptick in the amount of Facebook advertisements that I've seen coming out. And I mean, very polished, like graphic design.
I think, but they've all seemed to hire the same graphic designer.
Right. And well, I mean, that's why I'm saying that it seems that they're all doing really well, because I have hired a marketing firm before, and you know as well as I do how expensive that can get. But like you said, everybody seems to hire the same one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be, it's a bit interesting to know that, for some reason I've seen this consistent, and it's not just the monument companies. It seems like the funeral homes have the same marketing company.
Mm-hmm. The coffee shop down the corner.
The coffee shop. I was going to say the guy that sells the used tires and rims. I think that's the same guy. Whoever this is making a killing.
They are. They are absolutely making a killing.
It's of course we jest about it, but the key to it is it's like the same. It is quite literally the same MO advertising, and it's obvious in AI. I mean, OpenAI is making a killing off all y'all, because you're using the same platform through ChatGPT to create your advertising.
How do y'all feel? Y'all are using up all the water now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, all these resources. So they're going to actually have to build a whole AI data center right on top of Austin's shop there in Wichita Falls.
Please don't. Please don't.
I like to think that they're going to do it. They're going to build it around you, but you're going to be the holdout, like in Up, and there's going to be like this little sliver of a road coming in, but then like there's going to be a fence, a high wire, razor wire fence going around your property, and that's until they're going to close you off until they buy you out.
Right. Still, one of the best solutions to that entire problem that I've heard has come from Elon Musk, and he has proposed doing data centers in orbit.
And you know what? That's where we get into the affecting us, because that data, the place Terrafab that is going to make the chips for SpaceX and those data centers are going to be manufactured right here in Grimes County, not here next door in Grimes County, about maybe 20 minutes from here. And it's funny. There's been a lot of people getting all worked up over that one, and I'm like, guys, y'all weren't doing it. Nothing could happen with that property anyway. The saddest thing out of this whole deal is that it runs the risk of killing a biker bar favorite called Yankees that's out that way.
Oh, there you go.
And I mean, really, that's kind of it. I mean, if Yankees does the job right, then they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But it's all this is coming. But and what it is we've got billions and billions of dollars going into infrastructure so that we can make our Facebook posts that all look exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the big point, it's not that AI made bad ads good; it made bad ads faster.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of businesses are using AI. They're doing it to skip the hard part.
Yep.
Taste, judgment, originality, and just flat out knowing their customer. So, of course, now everybody's ad has the same glowing headline, the same fake cinematic lighting, and the same.
Oh, my favorite is the blue bar on the bottom of every one of them with the gold print, and then you have the little boxes with the line drawing icon. Mm-hmm. That gives you kind of your call to action that doesn't have a button there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but what it's turned into is AI is now the new stock photo.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, none of us would even dare touch a stock photo just because, one, it wasn't original enough for us, and two, it really didn't pertain to us.
I feel a little bit like the hypocrite in this scenario, though.
Oh, I'm a hypocrite too because I am using it.
Well, I'm using it too, but what my point is that we sat here and promoted it pretty hard and talked about it and now so many people are using it because they're seeing everybody use it. But you kind of go, hey, step out and do something different on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So and because now we've seen the same thing over and over that you realize that nobody's actually looking at what is there. They're just click and go. They're scrolling past everything because everything looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
and it's not that you look like the other. It's not that you look like the other monument company, right? It's not that you look like this unique designed layout that is used 1,000 miles away from you or something like that. But it's more that you look like the funeral home that's on the same feed, or the coffee shop like you mentioned, or I don't know, the tennis shoe store.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one of the biggest problems, and of course, like I said, I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, because in the beginning, whenever we first, caught on to the fact that this is one of the things that we could use it for, is I put out some of that, and I'm like, you know what, not bad. And then, of course, then you see the muffler shop, the coffee shop. Mm-hmm. All that, all of a sudden they're turning it now. It's basically the same looking thing. That it didn't take all of us that long to catch on and go, well, some of them still haven't caught on because they're still doing it. But if anything, it's not branding, it's camouflage.
Yep. And look, I've been playing along with it all week myself. If you've been following us this week, you've seen that the missing giraffe Gracie has really been hanging out at our shop.
I saw that. You put it to work.
Yeah. She came in. She did some carving. The forklift was down, kind of like you, right? And so we got her to work lifting stuff up here inside the shop, and they mentioned that they found her today, so we went ahead and put out, shared the photo where she decided to leave, and on her way back to Lakey. And as we all waved goodbye to her and said, we'll see you when we come out there to float the river, and the next one's on me, kind of thing,
Right. Yeah. And for a little bit, I really did think you had the giraffe. There was a picture of it lifting a stone.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I tried to tell her, don't lift with your neck. This is not a good, you're going to have problems.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Yeah, but one of the biggest problems with so many of us turning to AI is, like I said, it didn't take us that long to figure out we could smell the fake, and if we can, our customer can.
Yep. And that's, we've made some ads recently that we're kind of playing with, and we haven't posted them yet because we're still cleaning them up. We have used AI now. Like, it's one thing you play with pictures of a giraffe at your shop. But one of the things we're starting to do is we're using it to create the structure of the ad, removing the images that are fake and putting our real images in it.
Correct.
So that I want to show my work.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen,
and that's one thing that I did, and of course it turned into something pretty funny earlier this week because I'd sold
oh,
a
yeah,
too. Yeah.
this is actually rather entertaining. This cracks me up, and he got a kick out of it too in the end. So
I did, but I had a customer come in here to my Decatur location, and they had a rendering from another company, and it was an old wireframe design rendering, and of course it had a spot for a porcelain. It says porcelain image here, and they said, can you do something like this? And I said, give me a minute. And then of course I kick out a full color rendering and then they decided not to do a porcelain. They wanted to do a laser image once they saw some of my laser work, and they were blown away by it. Of course they bought, and that gave me the idea that it'd be a neat concept to create an ad that shows half of a rendering done in wireframe and half of it done in color, and just to show the difference between like an us and them comparison. And so same as you, I used AI to create the structure of the ad, but whenever it came to the ad, I used the actual image that I drew up myself to put into it. And then I wrote the copy for it and put it out there, and I was like, this is a pretty cool ad. And I got a few text messages from a few people, and they're like, hey, that's a good idea. And then it was later that evening whenever I get a text message from you of a screenshot of another monument company, nowhere even close to me, that they copied my ad, and all they did was put their name over mine.
Now, okay, full disclosure, we're not going to say who it was by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a friend of ours. Like, it's somebody you and I are both friends with on Facebook.
And if he's listening, I got a kick out of it. Like, it does not hurt my feelings
It was more of an entertainment. You opened the door for us to harass you. Now you get to deal with it.
Correct. Yeah.
So, it was funny, but yeah, it was obviously a good ad. You did a great job, creating something a little unique that showed and educated more than anything, because that's really, I think our ads in our industry are going to have to be one of two things, right? One of three things. The first one being you show your work, right? And I've harped on this tool and irritated people that are friends of mine. Maybe they're friends of mine. I don't know if they're still friends of mine after it, but where I've called them to question on some of the stuff you see posted. And I'm a stickler. I fully get it. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I don't like things like seeing the truck in the background of the photo for my stuff.
Right. Reflections and headstones, things like that.
The reflections, tools. I don't want to see tools out. I want to see the plot raked out and cleaned up, presented like you're going to present it to the family. Because the deal is if I'm putting it out for the public to see, I don't want to put just this goofy, detailed stone where my margins don't match on my marker, right? So, or if let's say it's a 2x6x2 with a 2-inch margin to the panel, so you've just kind of come inside of it, and the top up to your SERP is not 2 inches; it's 1.5 inches, and everywhere else is 2 inches. And like that image, those images of those things, I don't want to put out because that shows that type of work, right? And
I know that one. I know that one you're referencing because also whenever we were talking about how the line weight on the top lines, you can tell that whenever it came time for them to apply the stencil to that stone, that the panel wasn't big enough. So they just clicked and dragged from the bottom, which shrunk those lines up at the top.
Yeah. And so you sit there and go, guys, it's, take the effort to make sure. It drives me nuts. And I've gone over this a bunch of times. When your panel line on a SERP top does not follow the arc of the SERP. And so those are images that you would not see us share. One, because I really I'll go out there and clean the edge up so that it actually follows my line. But I won't sit there and share this stuff that I go, this is not up to par. But I see a lot of people go, I think it becomes, hey, we haven't had anything out and I would argue that it's not the monument, that it's not the company owner that's doing the post. It's an employee who's like, oh, I'm being pressured to put a post out.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to get a post out. And they're not paying attention to those little details on those kind of things. And so here's the post. They're like, well, now it is. It's this. It's the margins don't match. There's tools in the background. It's not cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
It's at a bad angle. Like, like you're standing full all the way up and you're looking down on something like a 2x6 by 1/8.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing way too close to it, so you can't really see it. Stuff like that, right?
It's funny you bring that up because you're an ag comm major, aren't you?
Yeah, ag lead.
Okay, well I'm an ag comm major.
It's the same, similar thing, right? I mean, we're splitting hairs,
right? And so at one point in college, I had to take a photography class, and every week you were given an assignment of something you needed to photograph, and of course you had to turn in your memory card to him so he could review them all, and then he'd go through them, and that's how you got your grades in that class. And it came to the point to where he was talking about like taking pictures of children. He said, never stand up and take pictures of children. He said, because it's not down on their level. And then the same goes for the memorials too. If you're above the level of what you're taking a photo of, it's hard to make it look good. But also a little funny story to that is that he gave us the assignment that we had to go take pictures of children. And he said, of course, make sure you get permission before. And it was one of the most awkward events of my life, having to walk up to like a playground and be like, hey, do you mind if I take pictures of your kid?
Would you have an Epstein press pass on, or
pretty much? He did give us a printed copy, from him in the class stating that, so at least
aren't you glad you weren't a non-trad like me, where I went back in my 30s? I would have gone up to him and said, yeah, I'm either luckily I had kids, I could take a picture of my own kids, but I'd have been like, no, this is not happening. Oh gosh.
Yeah. That's it's one of the more awkward experiences I've ever had.
But yeah, I mean, the just simple photos and stuff like that, and that's the majority of the posts that you're going to see come out, right? Is stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The next one's going to be informational, right? When I say informational on this one, what I mean is usually it's like, hey, this is the sale we're running. Mm-hmm. I don't know, something obscure like special on flat markers or something like that.
Right.
Or I don't know, we have the cheapest headstones, whatever.
You sell them at wholesale.
Yeah. And so something to that effect. Mm-hmm. I think the third one that you're going to see often enough is going to be process, right? Or educational. Mm-hmm. And really that's where yours kind of hit, is it was like, hey, look, this is what you're seeing. This is what you should be seeing. This is how things produced. Mm-hmm. This is what, so that way you understand what you're looking at whenever it's done. I think things like explaining what the process is on purchasing a monument, the process on making monuments and stuff like that. All of those things, especially now with the way AI is going and how everybody's creating the same ad, it's going to have to be different. It's going to have to be unique. But man, that's why I'm like, I want my stuff. I don't want, and look, when I say my stuff, I mean, it's generated off of our designs. It's generated off of our, what do you call it? The intellectual property stuff, mm-hmm. Our designs. So mm-hmm. those are the things I want to share with customers, because I can share your stuff.
Right.
But that doesn't make me unique. And I know we're far enough apart and that should be okay. But if I've got to do something with it, it becomes another animal.
Mm-hmm. Well, even like on my website that I just redid, I have a concepts gallery, and it's just drawings that I've done. I call like from my board pile. Whenever I get bored or inspired by something, I'll sit down and draw it. And whenever I put those on my website, I chose not to leave those just as the rendering straight out of Corel. I chose to at least run those through one or two different AIs, depending upon which one was going to give me the best result to make them look photorealistic.
Right.
And I even have a small caption on there that explains that these are rendered images from my designs, just so you can see exactly how they would appear, and it gives you a lot better perspective on what it would look like in the cemetery.
Yeah.
But even with that, but sometimes they come out looking a little bit too polished, and I chose not to use those because nothing is ever perfect. And that's one thing that a lot of people are starting to get an eye for, especially how to differentiate AI generated images from non-AI images, is that the AI images are just too perfect.
Oh, and I think there's going to continue to be this ebb and flow on this stuff. We're going to see where you're going to see the AI images change. Mm-hmm. What is wrong on the AI is right. You used, like when it first came out, remember, like you would see, like they were like, oh, you can tell this is an AI image because the spelling is wrong in the background, and then the person's got feet for hands, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like,
But the crazy thing to think about with that is that example that you're talking about, that was only like 4 months ago.
I know. Well, I mean, if you go look at the one I posted today of the giraffe, I created it through the same chat that I've been working on, mm-hmm. and it brought in images of me from other things that I have done mm-hmm. on other threads. So it's rather interesting what it's done and how it does these things. But you got to make it your own. And I think the biggest statement is probably better to not get in a hurry to make the post if it's going to be cheesy or whatever. If you're like, oh, I got to make a post, we got to get something out because mm-hmm. we haven't had anything out. Like at this point in time, does a couple of days matter?
Exactly.
Like, get quality out so that what you're producing shows. And I think my biggest concern with this is this: your competition is not just the guy down the street, right? True. It's not just the other monument shop down the street. And you and I have said this kind of off camera or whatever. Those who are listening to us, God bless you. And I don't know why you do it, but thank you. I'm sure you have other things to do with your time, but thank you. But those who are listening to us on this stuff are the ones who actually care to improve their craft anyway. And that doesn't mean that the others that don't listen don't intend to improve their craft. The ones that go to conventions and don't listen, the same kind of thing. And, there's groups of people that care to improve their craft.
I was just going to leave it at that.
Well, I know I was being nice, but I probably shouldn't. I think there was another one that was about that kind of stuff. But
it's kind of like the ad from Talladega Nights. If you don't chew Big Red,
Hey, but yeah, if you ain't first, you're last. I do like Fig Newtons.
I do. The sticker is awfully dangerous, and I can't see anything. I do love Fig Newtons.
But I think the deal is that not everybody cares to improve what they're doing. It's just sufficient enough that even is in many cases the monument shop down the road. Mm-hmm. But let's put aside the monument shop down the road. Now that everybody can do things in AI, who else can do ads in AI? Is the funeral homes and cemeteries, the online monument shops. All of these other guys are going to be putting out ads, and they're all going to look the same, especially the funeral homes and cemeteries who don't know the first daggone thing about monuments in the first place. Mm-hmm. So,
and one thing, especially if you're a shop that's been around in your specific area for quite a while, one of the things that is one of the main reasons why you've been there so long is because it's you. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you start putting out ads that aren't you anymore, people will call things into question. And also, whenever it comes time that if you are the individual in your company that is responsible for putting out the ads, at least put the same amount of due diligence in it that you would do for a design for a family.
I've even gone to some of my stuff where I've kind of started taking, Abby usually does the better ads, but I've kind of taken to some of my stuff where I go through our company page and I'll comment on other local things.
Yep.
But I kind of use I use a muted version of my sense of humor, right? Something that is sufficient with being public facing.
Mhm.
So not something that is either depending upon who I'm around. I mean, you've been privy to the dark humor that you and I both have, and then or the stuff that we don't say in front of children, those kind of things. But there's things that I like. A good example is, like I said, we just finished the America 250 project this week. Yesterday, I think it was, the city parks posted a post saying that that particular park, Veterans Park, is closed all tonight while they get ready for the Dan Campbell 7-on-7 tournament that's being held here.
That was cool.
And we're talking probably 10 to 15,000 people are going to be in that park alone.
Right.
And so within that, I've got to be, I kind of saw that posted. Well, do I think anybody's going to read my stuff? No. But what I did was I commented on it saying, well, it's a good thing using our company page. It's a good thing we got our stuff finished out before all that started. Good luck to y'all, and and just kind of made some kind of joking comment about, man, it's a good thing. Well, the giant blueberry won't be out there this weekend, so don't worry about us. We'll be out of the way.
Right.
And so people may read it, but nevertheless, it's there for the public to see. Our name's out there again. They see we're not taking everything we do so seriously. We're kind of lighthearted.
Mm-hmm. It just humanizes your brand is what it does.
Yes.
And I've also taken a page out of your book, because you talked about it as something you started doing with your company page, is commenting on other monument companies' pages from your company page, and building them up, saying, hey, good work. Y'all did great on this, or something.
That's been a big one that I like quite a bit. And one of them, and look, if you're listening, follow along. I tend to follow a lot of shops. And now if I see bad stuff, I'm not clicking on your bad stuff and liking it. Now, if you don't see me like it, that doesn't mean that I thought it was bad. That just means I hadn't quite.
You're about to say dangerous.
Yeah, I have not quite seen that yet, or I didn't catch it. Okay, calm down, Houston.
Right, and like you
calm
said,
down, Houston Gordon. Okay, it's okay.
Like you said, everybody feel free to fall in on this precedent. Because there's, like the old saying says, that a candle loses no light to help light another.
Yeah. And let's support each other. The more we do that, the more visible, because what happens is that once you understand the algorithms and what all of this stuff is seeing, what you're realizing is the more likes you have on your page, the more comments you have on your page, the more it populates and gets in front of people. Right. Mm-hmm. And
it's not that you're trying to get in front of their families. Because the majority of the time, whenever we're commenting on other people's pages, it's so far outside of our service area that's an impossibility.
Yeah, but okay, let's put a good example to this. We'll create a hypothetical that I would never do. Let's say I was going to comment on somebody like Matt Worthington's page because they had a good post, right? Mm-hmm. It listed in things I'll never do because you can't help Matt out. But if I actually, it's a real example. Like I actually had, Dan Giroux has posted a few things that they're going through at the shop where he's gone out and done some more carvings and things like that. And I go through and as the company page and as myself have liked those things.
Yes.
Right. For two reasons. My like for my personal side is nothing, and the people out there have no idea who anybody is. So that's fine. It's just an extra like. They see more numbers. Mm-hmm. But when another company page that says monuments in the title or something to that effect comments on it saying, hey, great job, it shows there's an industry validity behind what is being done to their consumers in their area. Mm-hmm. Right? It's almost like Walmart saying to Target, hey, great job. But think of it more like when the less of the troll version of what Wendy's does very well on
I was
social media.
about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Whoever's running that account, kudos
Yeah,
to them.
but think of how great they are. You know what the other thing is, and I don't know if you're seeing it around you, we're seeing it around us when it comes to the PDs, sheriff's offices and stuff like that. They got somebody like Burleson County Sheriff's Office has somebody in control of their social media and their Facebook page, and he's trolling the crap out of a lot of people. It's great. and just scenarios and I mean making funny, and they're going viral, you know, and it works. You know, they're getting attention. They're getting the attention they need.
Right.
And so you can as a business piggyback on that, kind of like I did with the Gracie thing. I've seen a lot of posts around the state. In fact, I started it pretty early. Not that my stuff went viral by any stretch of the imagination, but then you started seeing it nonstop. It's kind of fun. You know, it's like, is it going to sell anything? Absolutely not. Is it in front of more people? Sure. But
well, and it's like, of course, you know, in our industry that we have to be very careful with our advertising and humor, because this is not a humorous industry. And unfortunately, some people, whenever they see a humorous post attached to something related to our industry, it can turn them off. And
now anytime I do a monument, we're not doing anything humorous. It is straight laced, it's straightforward. But even whenever we talked about LaSalle a second ago, in 1812, there was an article back to back. We had two articles come out from two different groups on two different monuments in the same week. And LaSalle came out and we shared it directly from the newspaper. But in the newspaper ad, I think I went in and said, "Hey, look, Mom, I'm in the paper." You know, and just because it's funny. And it makes it kind of thing, especially whenever I knew, because I was already following all the county pages and Grimes. And you saw people going, "Where did the statue go?" And we didn't say a word the whole time. The statue was gone until it showed back up.
That could have been the Gracie post for a while.
Absolutely. Well, what's funny is I didn't share. James took the picture of the completed statue after it was back in and had AI create it as Chuck Norris.
I saw that one. Yep.
So. But no, I think it's in good humor, and you've got to have those things. I mean, especially with what we do. How many sad stories do you get constantly, and it really kind of affects us. So have fun with the stuff you're doing, but make it you. Make it uniquely you instead of somebody else's. Quit making it Jeremiah All Hands posts. It doesn't matter. He didn't listen to us anyway. He's going to sit there, "Oh, man, I ain't got time for it. I'm only in the truck for 48 hours a week, driving from place to place."
Yeah, just don't, whenever you make the next ad or post you want to do, have that same glowing family that's like standing off the sunset, because I think my last count, it's been in 19 different industries and had 47 different emotional journeys by now.
That poor family.
Yes, they've been through a lot.
I think what gets me the most is whenever, like, when you see the funeral homes in the cemeteries doing the same ads that you're doing, change your ads.
Yes.
Change your ads.
Yeah.
I'm not, and look, I know your dad's got a funeral home. I'm not knocking the funeral homes in this situation. I'm just saying, you don't, as a monument shop, as somebody who is supposed to be educated on the stonework, you don't want to be directly associated with the funeral homes. It's a different part of the same industry.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the AI can generate emotion, but it can't earn it.
No. Be real. Still be real. I think we're going to, and even James, and maybe it's because I've indoctrinated him. I don't know. But
it doesn't have a chance.
Yeah. He is saying that he's seeing where people are kind of his generation are kind of steering away from some of this stuff or whatever. He makes comments about things that aren't real, that don't work and don't function well, and going backwards. He said on his own, without being prompted, he says, "I think we're going to see a technology turn back to some extent because they're just tired of it." So I think, truthfully, be unique, be your own individual. Don't try to be what everybody else is doing. Authenticity and all that's going to be what makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, which is really cool, and I think we've talked about stories that we've kind of come across at shops and stuff like that that have been really unique and cool over the years. Did we talk about this marker before? This is that Confederate VA bronze.
No.
Up here. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick story, and not quick, but quick story, to tell you another story. Okay, and the purpose of this is to show like how small the world is, and I'll say this, and for those of y'all who believe, and y'all are on the same page with me. For those of y'all who don't, just understand that, man, I believe in a bigger power, and my God is awesome.
Yep.
So here's this. When while back, this is, I couldn't even remember the year. This is probably 2015. I got a call from Chris Triska down in El Campo. And he called me up and he says, "Hey, I've got a monument. I sold a monument to a family in, and he says, Bedias, and he's struggling, right?" And I said, "You mean Bedias?" Which is one of the neighboring towns down the road. And he says, "Yeah, that's it." He says, "Could you install it for me?" I said, "Yeah, Chris, I'll take care of it for you." Just, because Chris and I are buds. And I said, "Yeah, so, get it all taken care of. Let me know when you're ready, when it needs to go, and we'll get it all knocked out." So he goes, "Hey, there's another thing on it, though." I said, "What's that?" He says, "There's a VA marker on the plot that they would like to have removed and destroyed." And I said, "I can move it to the foot. It didn't have to be destroyed. I don't understand what the deal is." "No, they want it removed and destroyed." Okay. I don't understand why, but whatever. We'll talk. We can talk about it more later. So my guys go out, they do the install, they bring the marker back, and I look at it, I go, "Oh, that's cool." And I immediately understand why they wanted it removed and destroyed. It is a Confederate marker. So for those of y'all who can't see, because we don't really share video because we just haven't, what you can't see is behind me on the shelf on the credenza. Credenza? What do we call this? Bookshelf? Whatever the crap this thing is called.
China cabinet.
Sure. In one of the top corners is a bronze Confederate VA marker. I've not been doing this as long as a lot of folks. I've been doing it for a while. At this point in time, I've been in the industry 23 years, been on my own for 20. So I have never seen another Confederate VA bronze. That doesn't mean they don't exist.
I have.
That means that is the only one I have ever seen in my entire life.
Of course,
okay?
I've seen granite and marble ones, but I've never seen a bronze.
Never seen a bronze. So I held on to it, going, "Man, this is cool. I can't get rid of it. It's history." I stored it away, and in storing it away, I just kind of stuck it in the back room somewhere. Well, fast forward a number of years, and Emily and I are on a trip. We're going to the Davis Mountains with the kids and pulling a travel trailer. And at this time, she's uploading into Ancestry her ancestry information, right? Her genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
And her grandmother had written a book on her side of the family, which was the Riley side of the family, that were all in Mississippi. So my father-in-law is from Hazelhurst, Mississippi. The scary thing about this is he and Dave Pace grew up about, 15 minutes from each other. They were both at Mississippi State at the same time. They are both stereotypes of what it is to be a guy from Mississippi. They're just different. My father-in-law is not nearly as loud as Pace. So, but
that's possible.
yeah. So yeah, it's he's in all that to say. So they grew up. They've been there in Mississippi for eons. But one individual in that line moved from Mississippi to Beat Ice. And she's looking, she goes, "Hey, did you know I have a very distant relative that moved to Beat Ice?" And I said, "No, that's crazy." I said, "Where are they buried?" It says, "The Baptist cemetery there in Beat Ice." "Ah, what's the name?" "Upchurch." I said, "What's the first name?" "It's James Upchurch. James Upchurch." And I said, "Hey, hold on for a second." And we're on the road. And I call the office. I said, "Hey, there's that VA marker in the back room, right?" And I get a call. The answer was, "Yeah." And I said, "Take a picture of it and send it to me." They take a picture of it, send it to me. That VA marker that sits on that shelf behind me is none other than James Upchurch, which is a distant relative for Emily.
That's wild.
So the bizarre deal about this is how many things have to line up in history for me to end up acquiring this, right?
Right.
It's not just like I have to get into the industry. I wasn't raised in this industry. Emily and I have to get married for this, the connection to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to have some individual buy a monument from a friend of mine in El Campo and ask us to remove it. Because if they didn't remove it, if they just had it moved at the foot, I'd have never seen it. I wouldn't have never looked at it.
Right.
So it was such a bizarre situation. So I'd say that to say this. The number of stories that we acquire over the years, which is way more valuable to me than any dollar value that I make over my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
The unique stories that happen for us as monument guys are the coolest things to me. So,
I mean, along the way, with the amount of people that we get the opportunity to interact with, it's like we inherit a small piece of their lives.
Yes. And you get to be you almost like you are the collector of history,
mm-hmm.
right? And the connections that matter. I mean, the number of people I've met over the years through being just here in this specific office. I've had families come in where there was an older gentleman and he knew the office. And he said, "I remember hitchhiking up this road from Houston to get to school to A&M." and one of them specifically said, "I got picked up hitchhiking by E. King Gill on my way," which E. King Gill is the 12th man.
Right.
That is, when you hear the story of the 12th man, that is where it starts, is with E. King Gill. So, all these different things have played out to meeting people that have done some crazy things over the years, being connected with, I had posted about Ken yesterday, who we did the Victory Eagle statue for him.
Mm-hmm.
We moved it on campus and reinstalled it and talked to him. And Kent Olberg, who most people don't know, but he's done a lot of amazing bronze things. He was instrumental in helping Guy Harvey with his artwork. So Guy Harvey is the fishing guy paintings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all those stories are really cool. Let me tell you this one. This is kind of where I'm leading to, and you know this story because I've told you already because it was just amazing. Yes, we are working with a family currently, and this started probably a month ago. I'm not really sure how long ago. It's been off and on a little bit. The lady's name is Linda Lewis, and you'll understand why I can tell you her name here in a minute. The lady's name is Linda Lewis. She came in and we're doing a monument for her and her husband. It goes out to the cemetery out in Steep Hollow. So Miss Lewis had come in and I'd done designs for her and all that. So she bought something off of the display. We did a couple drawings. She finally finalized on something. I did the initial drawings, went back and forth and all that. Well, she was in here yesterday and I happened to walk over there and I was talking to Janine about something. And we got to talking about something else. And you need to understand the whole conversation to see how just bizarre this whole thing is. For whatever reason, she'd already been here 2 hours. And we got to talking about education because it almost so many people around here assume that you have to have a degree to be valuable in anything, which I don't believe. Yes, I have a degree. I love my university. I love what I've been afforded because of things like that. That does not mean that is what is required for success. You'll never hear me say that. I don't agree with it. I've known plenty of successful people that have never had degrees that have done very well for themselves. And so this is kind of what we're talking about. And I had talked about how I grew up pretty poor. And I say poor, we were broke. I remember some pretty tough times, and I share those very seldomly with people that are close to me because it's not worth going into detail on them. But when I tell you that I remember rough times, I remember extremely rough times. I don't know that I realized then that they were rough times.
Right.
But when I grew up in the 80s, I was telling this lady, when I grew up in the 80s, we lived in Conroe. And she goes, where in Conroe? I go, it's funny because I'd say that and I talk about being poor. And they go, there's no place that's poor in Conroe. And they always go, think the lake and live on the lake. There's another side to Conroe that is not as wealthy. So we lived on the other side of the freeway. And she goes, well, where did you live? And I said, well, there's a church over there called Mims Church. And she goes, yeah, I know it. And I said, she said, I lived in Conroe for a period. I go, oh, that's cool. And you just thought nothing of it. And then I said, well, there's a school not far from Mims Church called Runyon Elementary. So, and I'm telling you enough information that if you are playing on your computer, you can get on Google and find these details. And she says, yeah, we didn't live very far from Runyon. I said, oh, well, there's a neighborhood there. And when I say neighborhood, it's a street called Rolling Pines. And we lived in Rolling Pines. She goes, I lived in Rolling Pines. And I looked at her. This lady's my mother's age, a little older than my mother. Mm-hmm. I looked at her. I said, you're lying to me. I'd already had her check. It's okay.
Right. Liar.
I said, don't lie to me. And she goes, no, I did. And she said, where did you live? I said, it's basically a U-shaped road. Okay. And I said, I lived at the bottom of the U. And she goes, we lived in the corner of that on the other side of the street. I said, no. And she goes, yeah, we had a garage there. And it was one of the only garages. This is a mobile home park. It's a trailer park. It is one of the only garages in the neighborhood. And it doesn't exist anymore, but it was there in the 80s and would have been the only garage there okay. So she knew. And then I said, are you lying to me? She says, no. She went on further to describe the creek. She goes, oh, I know the creek really well. The house on the corner across the street from us had the creek in the backyard, and there was a cliff back there with a rope swing. Yeah. And I knew there's no way you know that unless you lived there, because you had to go through Mr. Wright's backyard to get to it. So all that to say, she goes, when did you live there? So, well, I was born in 82, and I'm pretty sure my parents brought me home to there from the hospital. And we lived there until I think 94. She goes, well, I lived there from 82 to 86. You gotta be kidding me. And so we're just talking, and we have mutual friends, and all the times. And I hope my mother hears this, because I'm gonna publicly excoriate her for this. She has a history of double calling me all the time, and you only double call if it's an emergency, and she will double call me to get me on the phone. So she'll double call, and so this time I double called her, and I'm not ashamed of it, but she did not answer the phone. I called her again. I called my dad. Nobody answered the phone while this customer's sitting there. And they wouldn't answer the phone. So I ended up texting her. And unfortunately, Miss Lewis left. I ended up texting her and saying, do you know Linda Lewis? And she says, call me and I'll tell you about Linda Lewis. Oh my gosh. Okay. Turns out Linda did not only know my mother, but when my mother was learning the computer in the early 80s, Linda would babysit me.
That's awesome.
Beyond, you go a step further, and my mother told me a story yesterday that when she was heavily pregnant with me, on September 1st, Linda made her go for a walk around the block to help induce labor for me to be born on September 2nd. So Linda was one of my mother's first friends when moving to Conroe.
Wow.
And Linda has changed my diapers. I promise you, not a soul listening to this has had a customer who has changed their diaper. But it's another one of those stories that has to have so many things connect. Because she could have gone to our friends over at Choate. She could have gone to Raleigh Gardner's shop that's here in town. There's 2 other little shops she could have gone to. She could have bought it from the funeral home.
Yep.
But she came here. And we had to have a random conversation about being poor and growing up in Montgomery County. Otherwise, we'd have never known. It would have never come up for me to know that that's what that was. And it's just such a bizarre thing. And it's one of the things I love so much about what I do and the things that God has blessed me with, where I know I get to hear these things that show that we're on the right path, we're doing the right things, and we're serving the families the right way. Now, I know that doesn't specifically show we're showing the families the right way, but what I believe is that it's through stories like that and connections like that where we're being shown that what we're doing is right.
Oh, yeah.
So it was such an eye-opening thing yesterday that changed, it in a rough week, in a rough couple of months that we've had just trying to get everything ready. It was the catalyst that really kind of helped push things that extra step.
Right. Oh yeah. No, that's it's one of the strange honors of this business is the amount of people that we get introduced to after they're already gone. And, fortunately in your case of, I no other way to put it, but the good Lord brought you, brought y'all back together.
Yeah.
That's it's just a breath of fresh air whenever something like that comes along and lands right in your lap.
Yeah. It was so cool to see that happen. And I've been very fortunate. I'm sure there's people that never have that in their career. I've been very fortunate to have it happen a couple of times. And it just be something so unique and stories that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it's worth more weight than anything that's hanging on the wall.
Yep.
It's really cool. So it's one of those things where I kind of go, guys, along the way, hold on to the stories because the stories mean more than anything. The money is going to be spent, but the story stays.
Oh yeah. The story just doesn't go on a monument. A piece of it stays with us. Right.
And I'm the one that gets to share those stories with those who come in, right? Like the story of one family, the Fraser family, who'd come in here, and Dad was at Pearl Harbor.
Oh, wow.
And Dad had been at Pearl Harbor and was a kamikaze, hit his boat, and the concussion and blast blew him off the boat into the water. So the story that I heard was that they were trained as Marines. He was on the boat as a Marine. And they were trained as Marines that when you are in the water, if there's a fire, what you're supposed to do is come up. As you come up, splash the water over your head to remove any potential oil and fire that would be there so you can take a breath and go underwater. So he had to do that for while he was swimming. And now they weren't far from shore, but because of all of the debris and things in the water, it was a 5-mile swim.
Wow.
And he got on shore and survived. they had to spend the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks or something like that on shore trying to kind of get everything back together until any kind of semblance of leadership showed back up.
Wow.
And he went on to fight other things and whatnot. But his son told me specifically, he said, you would never have known that he saw that. If you ever met him, he was one of the, he was fortunate to be one of the happiest guys and a great dad and a great man who led a phenomenal life. And those are the stories I live for.
Oh, definitely so.
So.
Definitely so.
Yeah. So all that to say, enjoy the stories. As I get them, I will share mine, and I'm sure Austin, you will too.
Oh, definitely.
They're worth it, and share them amongst each other as well. But be better about your Facebook posts.
Hire your AI marketer, or learn to work better with them.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
But other than that, what do you got going on? Anything good?
No, got a wedding to go to this weekend.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. No. That will not be I. We are doing not that.
There.
So, but no, I think we're going to chill out and keep it real for this week, and then get ready for America 250.
Yes, sir.
In just 8 days. 8 days. We're 250 years old.
Coming up quick.
Yep. So, but on that note, y'all have a good one.
Yep. Thank each and every one of you for listening. All like 7 of you. So
yeah. The tens of listeners.
Tens of listeners, absolutely. Yep.
On the highest rated
still
podcast in the monument industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.